Good morning, fellow Toastmasters and guests. Thank you for being here today. Today is another edition of the joint contest between Lighthouse and Lighthouse Prestige Toastmasters Club. As usual, we will start with the Toastmasters Promise. I will share my screen and I will read it out. I would advise that we do that, but let's stay muted. I just want to confirm if you can see my screen.
We can.
Okay. So I'll start. As a member of Toastmasters International and my club, I promise to attend club meetings regularly, to prepare all of my projects to the best of my ability, basing them on the Toastmasters education program, to prepare for and fulfill meeting assignments, to provide fellow members with helpful, constructive evaluations, to help the club maintain the positive, friendly environment necessary for all members to learn and grow, to serve my club as an officer when called upon to do so, to treat my fellow club members and our guests with respect and courtesy, to bring guests to club meetings so they can see the benefits Toastmasters membership offers, to adhere to the guidelines and rules for all Toastmasters educational and recognition programs, to act within Toastmasters core values of integrity, respect, service, and excellence during the conduct of all Toastmasters activities. Thank you very much. So a bit of ground rules. Please let us stay muted unless we are called upon to speak. Let's try to keep our cameras open as much as possible. And I wish us a fun contest. The person who will take us through this is somebody whom I respect a whole lot. It's somebody I look up to. He will be our contest chair for today. He's a passionate Toastmaster. He's a cybersecurity expert and a technology salesman. He has served as club president for Lighthouse Toastmasters and ILAC's Toastmasters Club. He has served as Area 18 director, two-term District 94 finance manager, immediate past District 94 logistics manager, District 94 club extension chair, three-time District Credentials Committee member, District Leadership Committee member, and past Division F director. He contested for the office of District 94 Club Group Director for the 2021-2022 mandate, and he has attained the highly respected Distinguished Toastmaster title. When someone calls you a Distinguished Toastmaster in Toastmasters, it's like you have reached professor. If he's a professor, I'm like year one in undergrad. And finally, he serves as District 94 Finance Manager. He loves adventurous travel and meeting new people. Ladies and gentlemen, please let us welcome Distinguished Toastmaster Kayode Yusuf, our contest chair.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Abubakar. Good morning, fellow Toastmasters and our guests. It's an honor to serve as your contest chair this morning. Let me start by apologizing for stepping in late. It was due to logistical challenges, as we usually would blame. And with that apology out of the way and your forgiveness in my pocket, I think it's high time that we dove into this contest this morning. I must inform you that the contest this morning is going to be one that's very unique. And because we've wasted some time in starting, I'm not going to bring the Chief Judge to the virtual lectern. I'm simply just going to introduce him and move on from there. Our Chief Judge this morning is one of the people that I looked up to when I joined Toastmasters and one of the people that made me stay. He is a former president of Seaside Toastmasters and currently he serves as an area director. He is a network marketer, insurance executive, and he is also the Toastmaster John Onumia. It's good to see you this morning, sir. I'm going to move on to the briefing of the contestants. This morning, nice music, TM Greta, but please could you go on mute? Thank you. This morning, we're going to be starting with the table topics contest. The table topic contest is a contest where contestants come to speak on a topic that I am not even sure of yet. So no one could have known what topic it is. The contestants get to speak between 1 to 2 minutes. I want to believe that the chief judge has confirmed the eligibility of all the contestants and also the judges that we have in the contest this morning. I also know that all the contestants have submitted their biodata form because I have them. Please note that this morning, the contestants will be introduced by the contestant number, which they currently know, the contestant's name, and the table topic question. This would be repeated. Also, please bear in mind that this question is still raving somewhere in space. We're not sure what it is yet. So no one knows what it is. I also want to confirm that all the contestants would answer the same table topic question. What this means is that as soon as the table topic session starts, the contestants will need to be escorted into a virtual waiting room. The subject items will be communicated to and told who the next speaker would be. And they would bring that speaker into the main room. I also want to mention to you that this morning, we're having 2 clubs combine their contests together. What this means is that we're going to start with the first club, which would be Lighthouse Toastmasters Club. Would end that contest for Lighthouse Toastmasters and move on to the contest for Lighthouse Prestige Toastmasters Club. We're going to start, and again, apart from having 2 clubs, we also have 2 contests this morning. Like I mentioned, we're starting with the table topics contest, and then we'll move on to the humorous speech contest. So what this means is that we'll start with the Lighthouse Toastmasters Club table topics contest. We'll end that contest, and we move on to the Lighthouse Prestige Toastmasters table topics contest. We end that contest. We move on to the Lighthouse Prestige Toastmasters Club contest. We end that contest, and then we finalize with the Lighthouse Prestige Humorous Speech contest. Please note that for table topics, all speakers would have between 1 to 2 minutes to speak. Speeches less than 1 minute or more than 2 minutes, 30 seconds would be disqualified. Timer, please take note. Can the timer please give us a brief of how the timing device will work? Timer, please. Can you give us a brief of how the timing device would work this morning?
Yes. Good morning, fellow Toastmasters and guests. For today, I'll be the timer, and the contestants will simply have to look out for our images. We won't disrupt any speech by sharing our screens. Rather, our pictures, our videos will show the time cards. So for the timing is going to follow, for instance, the table topic speeches will follow the usual rules of 2 minutes. Any speech less than 1 minute will be disqualified. Any speech greater than 2 minutes, 30 seconds will be disqualified. By the 1 minute mark, you will see a green card, and then my background will change, something similar to what you can see right now. 1 minute, 30 seconds, we'll see the yellow card, and by the 2 minute mark, we'll see the green card. This will also be true for the humorous speeches too. The pictures in the backgrounds would show the time cards, and we are going to be 2 timers today, myself and TM Barakat. And I guess that addresses the timing issue. Over to you, our chairman, TM Kayode.
Thank you very much, Mr. Timer. Brief and prim. Quickly, I'll move on to disqualifications. This morning, there will be 3 grounds for disqualification. The first will be for time. Any speaker, like I mentioned earlier on, that speaks less than 1 minute or more than 2 minutes 30 seconds will be disqualified. The chief judge and the timers will communicate this to my humble self. Another ground for disqualification would be originality of speech. Like I mentioned earlier on, no one currently knows what topic we're speaking on. So it's very unlikely that we get anyone disqualified based on originality. But for the humorous speech contest, that could actually happen. The last reason why someone could be disqualified could be based on eligibility. For our contestants, they must be a member in good standing of a club in good standing. This means that the member must be a paid member and the club must also be a paid club. Once a winner is declared, all decisions are final. Once a winner is declared, all decisions are final. So if you have any complaints about who the winners are, please reach out to me. Again, because we're in the virtual world, it's difficult to define the speaking area for the contestants. So we will restrict our speaking centers to our computer screens. So judges, please take notes. With all of this said, I would want to ask if there are any questions from members of the floor. No questions. Awesome. With this out of the way, ladies and gentlemen, it's time we dive deep into the contest this morning. Like I mentioned earlier on, we'll be starting with the Lighthouse Toastmasters Table Topics Speech Contest. Mr. Secretary, can you please confirm that aside from Speaker 1, all other contestants for Lighthouse Toastmasters Club are in the breakout room?
Yes, Mr. Contest Chair, there's only one contestant for today, Lighthouse.
Awesome. Awesome. Our first contestant this morning is Toastmaster Joy Cheyenne. Toastmaster Joy Cheyenne, contestant number 1. Can you confirm that you can hear me?
Yes, Mr. Contest Chair, I can hear you.
Awesome. I also want to assume that you can see me.
Yes, I can see you clearly.
Awesome, the second time. If you could choose any person from history to become your imaginary friend, who would it be and why? I repeat the question. If you could choose any person from history to become your imaginary friend, who would it be and why? Your time starts now.
Good morning, Toastmasters and our wonderful guests. If I could choose one person in history, who would it be and why? As the contest chair reeled out that question, I had a flurry of images reel through my head. Do I pick Nelson Mandela? Do I pick Adolf Hitler? I know that's going to be a strange answer. Do I pick George Washington? And there is only one person, only one way to go, and that would be the great Madiba, Nelson Mandela. Nelson Mandela is a figure that went through boundaries, cultural boundaries, geographical boundaries. And if he stood for something, it was that you could live or die for whatever you believed in. Sometimes I imagine myself in the four walls of a prison, being imprisoned physically, but he did not allow himself to be imprisoned in his head. He was able to break through the walls of of, for lack of a better word, mental slavery. They tried to break his personality down. They tried everything at their disposal. But the great Madiba, the president of South Africa, who is no longer here with us, his words still remain the same after 100 years. And I believe that in the next 1,000 years, if we're all still on the surface of the earth, Nelson Mandela, for his values, for daring to live or die for what he believed in, would be that one person in history. Thank you very much, the contest chair.
We would have a minute of silence for the judges to pen down their thoughts. Timer, please take notes. 1 minute of silence. Thank you, Mr. Timer, for that virtual notification. Our 1 minute is done. And I can confirm to you all that no one passed within this 1 minute. It was simply to give the judges the time to pen their thoughts. At this time, we would wind down the Lighthouse Toastmasters Table Topics contest because, like the Sergeant at Arms mentioned, we have a sole contestant. I love being in contests where I'm the sole contestant. Nobody against you, no friend or foe. You're just on your own. Before we move on to the next contest, I must draw your attention to a chat in the chat box. The Vice President membership of Lighthouse Prestige Toastmasters did share a link. This link is for our guests. So if this is your first time, or if you're not a member, we'd want you to please go ahead to fill that link so we can reach out to you. I'll repeat that again. If you are not a member, or if you are a guest, there is a link to harvest information for you. So please go to the chat box, fill the information so we can reach out to you later after the meeting. At this point, I would want to take another deep dive into the Lighthouse Prestige Toastmasters Table Topics contest. This time, we have some competition. According to my list here, we have a couple of people getting involved in this contest. Mr. Sergeant at Arms, can you confirm to me that all other contestants, apart from the first contestant, are in the waiting room?
It's a work in progress. The other contestant is moving to the waiting room now.
Awesome. Can you please confirm to me when the coast is clear so we can hit the road running?
It is clear now, sir.
Beautiful.
The first contestant is in the room.
Beautiful. Contestant number 1, Toastmaster Ayongbemi Ayonsiji. Can you confirm that you can hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Except your computer has a fault, can you confirm that you can see me?
I can see you also.
Awesome. Again, because this is a different club contest, I would not be given the questions I gave at the first contest.
All right.
Contestant number 1. If someone came up to you and said, hey, do that thing, what would pop into your head first? I'll repeat the question. Contestant number 1. If someone came up to you and said, hey, Bemi, do that thing, what would pop into your head first? Your time starts now.
All right. Thank you very much, the contestant. Good morning, fellow Toastmasters and guests. The question is, if someone comes to me and asks me to do something, what will pop up in my head first? So basically, I'm the kind of person that I look at the end in sight before diving into anything. I first look at, okay, what do I stand to gain in the situation? Okay, is it a morally right for me to go about and do what this person asked me to do? And okay, well, what is the gain at the end of the day? So basically, I tend to do a lot of questions in my head, looking at, okay, like I said, I look at, okay, the end in sight, the morals, like, is it right thing for, because anybody can just come to say, okay, I need to weigh that options really in terms of, okay, because they can't tell me to do something wrong. Okay, tell me, for example, don't tell me that, yeah, you take this cigarette and smoke it or something. It's not part of my culture. It's not part of my upbringing. So I will not do that kind of stuff. So I'll definitely. So I have to look at, okay, is it morally right for me to go ahead and do stuff like that, or is it wrong for me to do that? So basically, what I will do in that kind of situation is that, okay, I will always try to weigh the situation, looking at the situation and hand it as, is it right for me to do? Like I said, I think I'm hammering on that so much because it's basically what I will actually do, because I will not do what will be detrimental to my own belief and also and to the person in the other end at the end of the day. So basically that's what I do. So I have to look at those 3 key questions. Is it right for me to do the end side, or is it morally right for me to do? Thank you very much.
We will give the judges 1 minute to put their thoughts together. Thank you very much, Mr. Timer. Mr. Sergeant at Arms, can you please confirm that our second speaker is here with us?
Yes, she is.
Beautiful. Contestant number 2, Toastmaster Fumi Ilori. Can you confirm that you can hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
I also believe, loud and clear, I also believe that you can see me.
Yes, I can see you.
Awesome. Toastmaster Fumi Ilori, if someone came up to you and said, Fumi, let's do that thing, what would pop into your head first? I'll repeat the question. If someone came up to you and said, hey, do that thing, what would pop into your head first? Your time starts now.
Beautiful morning, Toastmasters, and all the guests in the house. Thank you for giving me this topic. I'm really excited to take it on. When somebody asks me, let's do that thing, what comes to my head? It's just one thing, and that is something I am really passionate about. It's let's go read with children. almost everybody know that I am a child care boss. As you can see on my t-shirts, everything children is what I love to do. So when somebody tells me, let's go do that thing, I believe they want me to do that thing that I'm passionate about. That thing that when I'm sleeping, I'm thinking about it. That thing that when I'm eating, I'm thinking about it. In fact, I look away from television because I need to do that thing. It is a purpose for me. And every time I hit the goal of doing that thing, I find fulfillment in it. So if you've not been asking me that question, let's go do that thing, this is the time to ask me. And trust me, I will go with you to do that thing because I'm changing the world. Doing that thing one step after the other. I've had to work with children, read to children in various communities. I've had to change lives because I want them to have access to quality education. And my dream is that someday, every child that passes by me would say, thank you for helping me do that thing. So it's not just the adults that will be asking me that question or answering that, giving me the answer to the question. Even the children will be giving me answer to that question. So let's get it on. That is what I would want to do. That thing, reading with children. Thank you.
The judges have 60 seconds to put their thoughts to paper. Thank you, Mr. Timer. And this shows the end of the table topics contest for Lighthouse and Lighthouse Prestige Toastmasters Club. We will move on to the Humorous Speech Contests. And I'll give a quick briefing to the contestants. I also want to assume that all contestants have provided their eligibility forms to the Chief Judge. I also want to confirm that all contestants are members in good standing from a club in good standing. This means that the dues have been paid. I also want to confirm that none of the contestants are a district or international officer. I also want to confirm that none of the contestants have notified us of their intention to run for any of these offices. Please note that any of the speakers that plans to use props must have this set up before the 1 minute of silence, after which they're supposed to step up to speak. At this contest, the contestants may wish to remain or leave the room when other contestants are speaking. To eliminate the perception of bias, I'm going to introduce each contestant as follows: the contestant number, the name, their title, if any, the title of the speech, and I'll repeat their names. Humorous speech contests are for between 5 to 7 minutes. Speeches less than 4 minutes 30 seconds or more than 7 minutes 30 seconds will be disqualified. Again, I'll just want our timekeepers to just notify, since we know how the timing device works, so that the contestants can pay attention to you. So can you please just say something or put on your camera so that the contestants can see you? Timekeepers, can you please say something so the contestants can identify you? I would assume that our timekeepers are on sabbatical, but contestants, we have 2 timekeepers for this contest. The first will be Toastmaster Chinedu, who has come up on camera. The second would be Toastmaster Barakat, who just unmuted our computer. You sound like you're in the same room with me. I can confirm that we're not in the same room. I'll move on to the grounds for disqualification. This time, we have 4 grounds for disqualification. The first is based on time. Like I explained earlier on, if a contestant speaks between 4 minutes 30 seconds doesn't speak between 4 minutes 30 seconds and 7 minutes 30 seconds, they will be disqualified. If a contestant is suspected to have plagiarized a speech, or if the bulk of their speech comes from something popular, they will be disqualified. If a contestant is suspected to not be a member in good standing or from a club in good standing, or they are a district officer, they will be disqualified. In this contest, only judges and other contestants can protest the winner. With all of these out of the way, let's rock and roll. I'm happy to mention to you all that despite the fact that we have 2 clubs in this contest, we actually have just 1 contestant for the Lighthouse Prestige Toastmasters Club Humorous Speech Contest. Toastmaster number 1, can you confirm that you can hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Awesome. Toastmaster Ayotola Olarewaju, contestant number 1. Speech title, The Power of the Last Born. The Power of the Last Born by contestant number 1. The floor is yours. Your mic is muted, contestants.
All right, thank you so
Please,
much.
timers, we restart our time, please.
Thank you very much. It is one thing to be the last born, and another to know the power that you wield as the last born. The contest chair, fellow last born squad, and everyone else. You see, as the 4th of 4 children, it was a sweet, sour moment when I realized this power. I was about 6, 7, or 8, and that day, 2 of my siblings and I had gone out to play against our father's instructions. And unfortunately for us, he returned sooner than expected. And before that, I'd bought myself a lollipop, fondly called Sweets. And there was this kid, Tolu, that kept begging for it. Give me sweets now, give me sweets. Please, cut small, cut small for me. I just said, no. And in my mind, I was thinking, I'm the last one, no. We don't cut anything for anybody. They cut for us. And she insisted, but I said, no. So when we realized that our dad had returned, we ran home scared. And all the other kids came home with us to see us get punished. We stood at the window, peeked in, and my siblings went inside. The moment they got there, my dad told them to kneel down, and then he gave them 5 strokes of the cane each. I became very scared. I panicked. I threw my sweets away. I got inside. My dad looked at me and said, "Are you okay? Have you eaten?" I said, "Yes, sir. No, yes, sir." And he said, "Okay, go and sit down." I was shocked. I mean, what sorcery is this? Still in my surprise, I remembered my sweets. I looked out the window in time to see my sweets with Tolu. I was torn between getting in trouble again and asking for my sweets. So I just said, "Give me my sweets. And Tolu gave me the meanest look ever, unwrapped the sweets and licked it. I was so pained. But you see, looking at the commoners on punishment gave me a little relief. So I just sat down. And from that moment, I realized that I could get away with anything in that house. And if my siblings as much as showed me aside, ever so lightly, I would give them my best arguments, letting them know that he made a mistake. And it goes something like, "Why did you?" And next thing you would hear is my father's voice echoing from the other room. "Akpe, why did you beat that girl?" And I go like, "Game over. That's finished." Now, you see, the typical last born can be spontaneous. And our best weapon is tantrums. I mean, when we begin, you would know something hits you. That is why they call it throwing tantrums, of course. And then our best tool for rebellion is refusing to eat. My parents will beg me to eat so I don't die of starvation, of course. Now, while I could get away with almost anything in my house, and with some kind-hearted humans out here, there is the common enemy of the last child. Another last child. It's like a battle of two worlds when these two meet, especially in relationships. I mean, imagine me playing the refusal to eat card with someone's son one day. Hey, okay, in all honesty, I was begged. But you see, the last one in me just thought, it's not enough. Beg me some more. Next thing I heard was, "I paid good money for this food. I'm not about to let it go to waste." And the next thing that followed, he cleaned up the plates, cracked the bones, and even washed it down with orange juice. I was so pained. I looked at him and saw Tolu all over again. But this time, there was no relief point. I went to bed so hungry that I dreamt of going to a closed restaurant, waiting for them to open up. It was at this moment I realized that my power of lastborn was no longer potent. Ladies and gentlemen, parents of lastborn, it's okay to choose to pamper your lastborn. but remember to constantly tell them that they would not always get things their way. And that is okay too. The contest chair.
The judges would have 60 seconds to scribble in their judging forms. Thank you, Madam Timer. At this point, I'd ask us all to unmute and put our hands together for all of our wonderful contestants. Thank you very much. I asked that we did this for two reasons. The first was that I'm pretty sure somewhere in between the speeches, you had been itching to applaud or acknowledge one of the speakers, but because it's forbidden during the contest, you're not able to do so. And the second reason is because I think that stepping out to speak at a contest takes a lot of courage. And I thought that all of our contestants should be applauded for this. At this point, we'll quickly move on to the interview with the contestants. After interviewing each contestant, we would present a certificate of participation to each contestant. We'll start with our first contestant for the table topics contest. Our first contestant in the table topics contest was Toastmaster Joy Cheyenne of Lighthouse Toastmasters Club. Toastmaster Joy currently serves as the Vice President Education for Lighthouse Toastmasters. Our hobbies include reading and traveling. What inspires her the most is humility. And her favorite quote is, "Fall 7 times and get up the 8th time." Toastmaster Joy, can you please switch on your camera and confirm you can hear me?
I can see and hear you, the contest chair.
Awesome. You are no newbie to the world of contests. How did you feel this morning?
I think that having a bit of nerves is already part of when you know that the focus is on you. So yes, I was just slightly nervous, but I was very excited to welcome that adrenaline, because when the adrenaline comes, it means that you're about to do something important. So like they say in the fitness world, no pain, no gain. So no adrenaline, no serious public speaking.
Awesome. And I can confirm to you that your background shows how calm you were. Beautiful background you have there.
Thank you, Mr. Contester.
Your quote says, "Fall 7 times and get up 8 times." Do you have an experience you want to share?
Oh, yes, I do. And I think that experience is what has gotten me to where I am in my public speaking journey. If you have listened to me speak over the course of the last 2 or 3 years, you would know that I always use myself as the poster girl of someone who didn't have the nerve or the confidence or the poise to speak in public. And when I'm saying speaking in public, I'm not talking about Madiba speaking to 1 million people. I'm even talking about just speaking to 12 people in a room. Once I know that it's my turn, my throat gets dry, my heart starts to pulse, my hands are so sweaty. So at a time in my professional life that I was being called to speak, I remember a particular occasion. It was just a small meeting, and my boss at the time told me, "Oh, Joy, please tell our guests about this project." And right there, smack in the middle of that meeting, I couldn't utter a word. So I can figuratively count over 10 times that I have fallen. And each time I fell, I took it upon myself to stand up and just push myself that this public speaking, if it's the only thing that I'm going to achieve, then so be it. So each time that I faltered, each time that I was nervous, each time that I think I didn't do well, the only thing I had to do was to ask for feedback, try again, and then go on for the next opportunity to speak. So yes, that would be my experience.
Awesome. I never knew that I had other people in the same boat with me. Speaking about Madiba, everyone knows him to be a political icon. Is there anything that connects you with him?
Is there anything that connects me with Madiba? There are several things that connect me. The first thing is, since we're in the age where your skin color has become something very important. So the first thing that connects both of us together is the fact that we're both people of color. We're both Africans. And it's the fact that I have also had times when I had to suffer for what I believe simply because I said, you know what, this is a good cause and I am not willing to compromise. I'm not willing to negotiate. And one of those things was about, standing up for people that, in quotes, were slightly disadvantaged. So a couple of drivers in my then company were disgruntled about something, and people thought that because they were drivers, they were seen as less important employees, that their opinions did not count. And I saw that as an opportunity to stand up for them and say, look, we're all equals in the sense that we're human beings and we need to be treated equally, no matter what our levels are or what the topic is. So in those two instances, I would like to believe that I look like the great Nelson Mandela.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Cheyenne. And I predict that we may have a human rights advocate right here on our screens this morning. Thank you very much, and you had a beautiful outing this morning.
Thank you.
And here we go, certificates of participation for Toastmaster Joy Cheyenne. You don't have to unmute your microphones, but if you want to put your hands together for her, please go ahead to do so. Thank you very much, Mr. Sergeant at Arms. We quickly move on to a Lighthouse Prestige Toastmasters speakers interview, and we'll start with speaker number 1. Speaker number 1 this morning is Toastmaster Ayongbemi Ayonshiji. Toastmaster Ayongbemi Ayonshiji. Whilst we wait for him to come on screen, I must mention to you that Toastmaster Ayonshiji is an audit consultant. He is the immediate past Sergeant at Arms and current club secretary at Lighthouse Prestige Toastmasters Club. He had won several notable awards. They include Best Table Topic Speaker, and best speaker. His hobbies are listening to Asha, the musician, and watching movies. When asked what inspired him the most, instead of answering what, he answered who, Professor Wale Soyinka. His favorite quote is, "If it is worth doing at all, then it is worth doing well." This quote was by Philip Stanhope, the fourth heir of England. Toastmaster Ayanshiji, I welcome you this morning.
Thank you very much. This is Mr. Kayode. Dixie Kayode, sorry.
So, let's do that thing. One of your things is listening to Asha. Do you know of our current tour that's going to be happening soon?
I shall move a lot from a different country, so basically it's not really more appreciated in Nigeria. So I know at a point he was in Paris, and from Paris he moved to Germany. So he moved from a different country of the world actually. So that's basically it. I'm not sure where he currently is. I'm a follower, like I really follow up music closely.
You also said you loved watching movies. Can you tell us about the last movies you saw?
Just last week, Bad Comments at the cinema by G. Mike. So.
Oh, you've seen the movie? Oh, awesome. I'm looking forward to seeing that too. Your profile also says that you're an audit consultant. Have you sent anyone to jail in the past?
No, auditors are not meant to send people to jail, actually.
But you provide evidence to send them to jail.
I will give opinion on our review on the financial statement and the like. So basically, so it is left to the users of the financials to do whatever they deem fit, actually. So that's basically it.
You look like a likable person, but in your field of profession, do people hate you? The auditor is on his way. The auditor is coming. So please don't talk to the auditor. Does that happen to you?
Several as well. And most of the time, I have a few occasions of that kind of incident. When they tend to see the auditor, they tend to have that kind of phobia, like, okay, they are around, or something like that. I'll be like, oh, you guys should calm down, because normally we are not here to come and test fraud or something. We are here to just, if you have done something rightly, then there's no need to be afraid. Except you have not done something, you have done something wrong, and then that kind of belief will be on your, like, that phobia will be in you that, okay, they are around or something. Because I remember one scenario like that, the client, the CFO was saying, no, I don't want to release the data. Anything you need, talk to my accountant, talk to my subordinates, or something like that. No, I need to speak to you because there are some questions we need to ask as regards what you are presenting to us for us to review. So basically, it's normal. It's normal in a kind of people. We just tend to let them know that, okay, calm down. We are here to do something and just to do, and at the end of the day, it's going to be a fine relationship.
Well, auditor Ayanshiji, from one friend to another, when you go to customer sites, do not eat the food they give to you. Yeah. Finally, if it's worth doing at all, then it is worth doing well. Can you tell us when you've experienced this?
I've experienced that a lot of times. Okay, let me just the one that resonates with people. Okay, when I finished secondary school, 2007, I'm a kind of person that I'm goal oriented. Like, I'm always okay, I want this. Okay, before finishing secondary school, like, I don't want to spend more than a year before I get an admission into a tertiary institution or something. But along the line, that didn't happen. I had to write an exam, didn't come through. Then there was a split between UME and Polytechnic exam then. So when I did UME, I didn't pass. I was like, okay, I need to settle for Polytechnic since the first one did not come through. So when I again at the Polytechnic, then must have Polytechnic. So my belief was like, okay, I'm not stopping here because I'm just here that, okay, let me just pass through because the university didn't come through at that moment. But I didn't let that affect my because there's something about people when you don't get what you want, you tend to abuse it. But I didn't let that affect. I didn't really graduated well, and at the end of the day, okay, my second year, while I was still in the Polytechnic, that's the ND2, like they call it ND2, National Diploma. So I put in for JAM, then I straight and then I chose my favorite school then, Obafemi University. Then at the end of the day, I got another thing happened again. I wanted economics so badly to study economics in the university. I didn't get like the popular saying, I didn't get what I wanted. Give me another course, demography and social statistics. At the end of the day, I still went ahead as okay, I will still do it. And then just like my life was just kind of that. I get to settle for something, but I didn't let that affect me. When I was studying demography, I graduated with a 4.32 CGPA. While I was still in school, I was writing ICANN. So I said, okay, before graduation, I want to be qualified that I understood that. So what I'm doing is a different course. It's not even related to demography and social statistics, it's not related to accounting. So basically, so I was like there just setting goals, and when I don't get it, I tend to just make have like a plan B. If this one does not come true, I'll do this one. So basically, I have that mindset like, okay, for me to even have this opportunity, then I need to make it worthwhile, one way or the other.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Bemi Ayonshiji. We're out of time. I would have loved to ask you some economic questions. But at this point, Sergeant at Arms, please, can you display the certificate of participation for contestant number 1? There you go. Congratulations, Toastmaster Ayonbemi Ayonshiji, for participating in the Lighthouse Prestige Toastmasters Club Table Topics Contest.
Sorry, the contest here. Oh,
yes, please.
I really appreciate the way you call my name. Like you call it with so much.
Thank you very much. We're learning the art of good name pronunciation. Thank you very much and congratulations. And quickly we'll move on to contestant number 2. Contestant number 2, Toastmaster Fumi Ilori. Toastmaster Fumi Ilori is an educator and a doer of that thing. She is a member of Lighthouse Prestige Toastmasters Club, and she has several notable accomplishments, one of which being Best Table Topic Speaker, Best Speaker, and more importantly, a Mandela Washington Fellow. Her hobbies include reading, photography, swimming, tourism, education, environment, and entrepreneurship. What inspires her the most? Yeah, she wrote, "My work with children. In my brain, I think doing that thing." What is her favorite quote? She said, "Love." You're welcome, Toastmaster Fumi Ilori. It's good to have you here.
Beautiful afternoon, DTM, Kaide. Thank you.
So, do that thing. You sounded so excited doing that thing. How did you get involved in doing this thing?
Okay, so thank you. My journey started since when I was a young girl. My mom used to tell me that everything about me was taking care of other children. And sometimes children would get missing. They can't find their way home. And I'll bring them to my house and say, I know them. They look like my cousin, or they look like I would just make a case for them. So I've always been a child carer. And I remember my mom still mentioned this a few weeks ago, that she has always been afraid of me. You know, first of all, she used to wonder that, oh, would this child ever have her own children? The way she takes care of other people's children, it's maybe people that don't have children, they always create orphanage homes, and, you know, they just love children. So she said the day I gave birth to my first child, she said, oh God, thank you. You see, so it's been something I grew up with, and my parents also supported me helping other children. along the line, that love for children grew. I remember that when I got married, which was quite early at 23, I wasn't supposed to be working. My husband wanted me to be a stay-at-home mom because I was pregnant. As soon as I had my baby, I just started moving around my estate. You know, I would ring the bell, call children out so that we could play games together, and we could do things together. And eventually I knew that I wanted to be in education. I wanted to make a difference. And that was how my journey to reading to children started.
No wonder you're an educator.
Mm-hmm.
You look good, by the way.
Thank
but I must
you.
ask this question. The teacher's reward is said to be in heaven. Are you waiting to die to get your rewards, or are you getting your rewards already?
Well, okay, so teacher's reward is on earth and in heaven. As a teacher, you get the reward every day through the children that you see. Last weekend, I took 60 children on a train tour. We went to Abeokuta, and parents were wondering, who does that? Other people's children, you just say, sign up, we're organizing this, and people release their children to you. Of course, that's a grace that I enjoy, and we returned safely. But while we were there at the President Olusegun Obasanjo Library, a family came by. I was wearing my I Read t-shirt, and the woman came with her 3 children, and she said, I read, thank you. I participated in your virtual school during the lockdown. So during the lockdown, we organized a free virtual school that had over 3,000 families learning on WhatsApp. And so we didn't know them, but this woman returned to say, thank you. These are the children, these are your children. And it was a dream come true for me, because one of my dream is that no child will pass by me without having felt the impact of the work that I do. So I have already begun to receive my reward on earth, and I know that it's counting in heaven. And the same thing applies to other teachers that are doing their work from the heart.
Thank you very much. My next question would have been on tourism, but I think you had answered that in your last question. So I'd ask you, sometimes I see you on the streets of Lagos. I see your van parked out somewhere with books scattered everywhere. And I would have asked you what inspired you the most. But in your form, you did feel that your work with children inspires you the most, which you had spoken all through the while you're on screen today. But the environment, tell us something in 30 seconds about the environment.
Okay, so my first degree was urban and regional planning. I did not mean to choose it, I was given. I wanted B's admin, but my JAMB cutoff was not enough to get me into B's admin. So I got 3 courses: geography, urban and regional planning, and maths education. So I was discouraged from maths education, even though that was what I wanted, because it was education and single honors. So I went into urban and regional planning, and that was where I learned about the environment. I learned about pollution. I learned about what we shouldn't do, how we could take care of the environment, because the environment takes care of us. So although I did not thread that path in terms of furthering my education after the BSc, I moved into environment. It's still something I love to do. I teach children about the environment, around climate change issues, how we can get our own food and things like that. So that's my love for the environment. And sorry, I know it's 30 seconds. When I go in public buses, or when I used to go in public buses, I preach about the environment. Nobody around me can litter, nobody. So I go, praise the Lord. Please, if you have litters, put it in your bag. Don't throw it out. Don't throw your trash. And people are wondering, what type of preaching is this? That's how much I love the environment.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Fumilori. And I assure you, mention to people that if you litter the environment, you will go to hell. And I'm sure people will not litter the environment. Beauty and brains, thank you very much, Toastmaster Fumilori. Mr. Sergeant at times, please, can we have the certificate of participation for Toastmaster Fumilori? And there you go. Congratulations. And quickly, we would move on to our solo and final contestant of the day. Our final contestant for today is Toastmaster Ayotola Olanrewaju. Toastmaster Ayo, as she's fondly called, is a fashionpreneur. She served as the immediate past vice president membership for Lighthouse Prestige Toastmasters Club, and she is the current club president for Lighthouse Prestige Toastmasters Club. Her speech was titled, "The Power of the Last Born." And I assure you, I know how much tantrums this lady throws. In a basket of accomplishments, she has several awards hidden in there. But I'm just going to single out these two. She was first place winner at the Division F International Speech Contest. She was equally the first place winner at the Division F Tall Tales Speech Contest. She loves to read, she loves to write, and she loves karaoke. That tells you she's the life of the party. When asked what inspired her the most, she said life. Her favorite quote: dance like no one is watching. Love like you've never been hurt. Sing like no one is listening. She credits this quote to Mark Twain. Please join me to welcome Madam President, Toastmaster Ayotola Olanrewaju the first.
Thank you so much.
Madam President, how did you feel speaking down to those of us, your subjects, this morning?
By subjects, you mean those that are not as special as the last one, right?
Well, if you put it that way.
Okay, so it felt good. I don't know. I had a different feeling this morning about the contest. And it was weird because I should normally be jittery. Almost every time I'm about to give a speech, I'm like, oh my goodness, I hope I won't flop. And to think that I prepared for this speech like last minute, and when it was time, I wasn't scared, and I was like, something is wrong. Why am I not scared? Why don't I feel jittery? Like I just was off vibe. So I said, okay, let's do it. But I guess maybe it's just because it's something that is too familiar to me. I mean, when I mentioned, I said, oh, I may be giving a speech. And I told my sister, I may be giving a speech. And I think I just talked about something like about the last one. She looked at me and said, oh, that should be easy. You know it too well. So I feel maybe it's because I'm familiar with it. And that's why I wasn't scared. So yes, it was fun. I had fun. I would have loved for it to be physical, but I had a good time.
Well, we're working on that. So, fashionpreneur.
Yes.
Is there money in this fashion business all of you are doing?
Is there money? There was money. But now every single person and their cousins are fashionpreneurs now. And you have fashion this, fashion that. I mean, it would take a miracle to talk to 10 people and not hear that I have a fashion line, I have this, I have a fashion outfit. I'm like, I mean, I remember when I went to fashion school, I actually went to fashion school. I went to learn how to sew. And it was before uni, and most people would come home and tell me, you are going to learn tailor. Okay. So it would have made me feel bad, but I didn't, because I intentionally wanted to do that. I wanted to learn to sew for myself. I was at a place when I would take a design to the tailor and say, I want this. And she told me, auntie, it's not possible. So I just felt like, why would it not be possible? I mean, I can't do it. So I learned to do it, and everyone discredited it at the time. But now looking back, I see all of them posting, I now saw this, I now saw that. I'm like, leave this thing for us now. So, but a fashionpreneur, basically not just making dresses, but everything fashion. So I'm also into the business of selling fabric, selling beauty items, and all of that. So, you know, there's money to be made anyway. So we're going to chook our head and make it.
I hear you sell fabrics. Do you have a shop in Balogun?
We're working towards it, because here I'm not going to let anybody take any small change that should be mine. Yes, we enter the market, go down and dirty and get this money. So yeah, that's the next plan.
I actually hear that there's a lot of money there. If I could advise the Lagos State government, ask them to point their child site there to get taxes. Now, you spoke about not being a tailor. As you know, my wife also calls herself a fashionpreneur. I call her a tailor. What is the difference between fashion designer and tailors? I think they are the same.
No, there's a huge difference. And you see how that tailor told me, auntie, it's not possible. There's a tailor. They just do whatever it is that they already know. They don't try. They're not as creative as designers. Now, a proper designer does this from scratch. You conceive an idea, possibly most of them know how to sketch it out, and we just give you bam, 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 this is what it's going to look like. And to a large extent, we actually went to school. I mean, I went to, after vocation school, I went to a polytechnic to study fashion design and clothing construction. So you can't call me a tailor.
You went to polytechnic to study what?
Fashion design and clothing construction.
What?
It's Martin.
What? Did she run away?
She's right here. What? She's right here.
You mean daddy paid school fee for what you said you just studied?
He had no choice. I'm last born. I get every single thing that I want.
Wait. Okay.
No, it was that or pay for school fees at PEFT, Pencil Film and Television Institute. And I think fashion design won that year. So
the next time I come to this world, I will come as a last born.
Please do. You missed out a lot.
By the way, I'm getting inspired already. I'm also a fashion designer, so I have started drawing sketches, and after this, I'll look for a sewing machine to sew something.
No, you are a tailor.
What?
You're a tailor. We get to decide who becomes a fashion designer.
I will just go to school on YouTube, and then I become a fashion designer.
Okay, we are very linear, so we'll allow you.
Final question. Dance like no one is watching. Love like you've never been hurt. Sing like no one is listening. Is this a pretentious life?
No, it's not pretentious. Okay, so earlier I turned out to be a very outspoken and lively child. I mean, I could talk to anyone, do whatever. And it got to a point in my life, I think something just went wrong in the systems, and I became shy. I just became shy for no reason. And I was very self-conscious of what people would say, of what they would do. Oh, if I do this, what would happen? If I say this, what would they say? Oh, if I go here. So it was a thing in my head. But I really wanted to do certain things. I wanted to stand in front of people and speak and not feel like everyone is going to judge me for what I'm wearing, what I'm saying, how I'm speaking. I want to get into a room. I don't know how to dance, but I really want to just move around and act like I'm having a good time. Basically, I want to live the kind of life that makes me happy without being very conscious. And when I saw that, I made it like the first thing on my mind. like, okay, dance like no one is watching. And every single time, you know how I would stand in front of a mirror and talk to everybody. I'm in front of the mirror, I'm talking to you, talking to the president, talking to Beyonce, every single person. And I feel very confident. So I'm like, okay, next time I'm speaking to you, I'll speak to you like you're not even there. Like I'm talking in front of my mirror, and that gives me confidence. That makes me feel good. That makes me feel alive. The same way I came to give a humorous speech, even though I felt like this is a speech suicide. Don't do that. And I felt like it can't beat me. So I went here. I came here, and I did it like nobody was watching.
I can confirm that you speak to people like no one is watching, because sometimes when I look at the way you talk to me, I'm like, I need to be in front of this girl, grab her neck, and I'll keep the rest.
Yes.
Multiple award winner, Toastmaster Ayotola Olarewaju, and fashionpreneur. Please let's put hands together to appreciate her this morning as we display our certificate of participation.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sergeant at Arms.
Thanks a lot.
With the interview of the participants out of the way, we would go ahead to announce our winners. This morning, we have had an awkward, or should I say awkwardly unique contest, in the sense that we've had a couple of solo participants. And these are the kind of contests I love to be in. We'll start with the Lighthouse Toastmasters Club Table Topics contest. Our winner this morning doesn't come as a surprise, but let's have the drum roll. It's none other than the Joy Cheyenne. Congratulations, Toastmaster Joy. Congratulations. Of course, this doesn't come to you as the first time. You have won several of these. And we look forward to having you win a couple more. Moving on to the Lighthouse Prestige Toastmasters Club Table Topics Contest. Because we have just 2 contestants, we will move on to announce just the first place winner, and then also the second place winner. We're supposed to come from behind, but because we have just 1 contestant, we'll start, because we have 2 contestants, we'll start from the front. Our winner for the Lighthouse Prestige Table Topics Speech Contest, of course, both of them like to do that still. But our winner this morning is none other than the educator, Toastmaster Fumi Ilori. Congratulations, Toastmaster Fumi. Another one in the kitty. Can we please display a first place certificate? Awesome. Congratulations, Toastmaster Fumi Ilori. That said, second place award goes to Toastmaster Ayongbemi Anyon Shiji. Let's put our hands together to congratulate him. We have Toastmaster Ayongbemi's beautiful. Toastmaster Ayongbemi Anyon Shiji. Congratulations. Quickly, we move on to the humorous speech contest. And I think that the solo contestants in the humorous speech contest actually deserves 2 certificates. One for Lighthouse Toastmasters and one for Lighthouse Prestige Toastmasters Club. Please put your hands together to congratulate Toastmaster Ayotola Olarewaju, the tailor. Congratulations to all of our contestants this morning. I've had a wonderful, beautiful time with you all. Once again, I must apologize for showing up late. I had several logistical challenges, but hey, I'm sure we made it up by having fun with each other. Congratulations once again to all of the contestants. Beautiful speeches this morning. I did have a good time listening to you. I wish again that I was just not an official. And I was just a participant, listening to you, taking down notes, and reliving all the good times that you were sharing with us. I also want to appreciate our Chief Judge. Thank you very much for coordinating all of the work behind the screens. Of course, you're behind the screen, but you do a lot more than just sitting and looking at us. You actually were coordinating a team of people that made this contest run smoothly. Thank you very much, Toastmaster Gimba. You also did a whole lot of work behind closed doors. Thank you very much. I was also mentioned again that the Vice President membership of Lighthouse Prestige Toastmasters is sharing the link for those of us that are guests to sign up. So please sign up so we can reach out to you. I must also mention that we have a couple of big weeks in the house. So we have somebody we'll call RSB, and names are Toastmaster, distinguished Toastmaster actually, Rashidat Saliu Bello. She is a past president for Trainers and Tutors Toastmasters, but much more than that, she has served as District 94 Finance Manager, a role I currently serve in for the second time. And I remember that the first time I actually served in this role, she had served in the role like 2 years before then, and she was one of those that actually put me through in this role. Thank you very much for all of your work and your service, DTM RSB. We also have Toastmaster John Awodeji, all the way from the Sunshine State in Ondo. Toastmaster John is the president of Sunshine Toastmasters Club, and he joins us this morning. Thank you very much, Mr. President, for joining us. I must also mention that we have the one and only English doctor here in the house. Thank you very much, Toastmaster Craig, for joining us also. And to you, my wonderful audience, thank you very much for listening to us. Again, it's been a wonderful morning, and I'll hereby hand over the meeting over to the owners of the meeting, the president of Lighthouse, or Lighthouse Prestige Toastmasters Club. Thank you very much for your attention and for the participation this morning.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Toastmaster DTM Kayode. Thank you. I'd like to say a big thank you to all of the role players and the contestants. And I just want to ask if we all had fun. I mean, I wish I could see everyone's expression. So please, did we all have fun?
Yes,
Yes,
I have fun.
Yes. Amazing. Thank you so much. Okay, so we have some time, and even though it's a contest, I would like us to just, if we have any guests in the house, to meet the guests. Do we have any guests online at the moment? Toastmaster Abubakar, please help me fish them out.
Yes, Madam President, we have one or two guests. I believe we have Rita is a guest.
Okay.
Prospective Toastmaster Rita, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Hello, Rita.
Hello, Rita.
Could you kindly introduce yourself and tell us how you got to know about Art Club and if you enjoyed the contest today?
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Toastmasters. This is my first time here. I am Rita Inabu, and I joined this platform while searching through the web. I was kind of feeling bored like last month, so I was going through the web and searching for places to join and be part of a community. Though by that time I had finished a Jobberman's internship program for public speaking. So I got excited, and when I saw this, I was like, okay, let me join. I sent a mail to 3 or 4 Toastmasters, different clubs, and this one sent me a mail like after a week. So I joined using the links, and I got connected with Chinyere. I don't know if she's here today. So she connected me, sent me to the group, sent me the group link, and I was added. Though I was supposed to attend the meeting for last month, the first and third month, but I was unavailable because of some circumstances, or maybe at work. Though right now I'm at work, but I'm still joining. Though with the distractions, I still enjoyed the group presentation, the individual presentations I made. So happy to be here. I'm very, very glad. And I wish to speak like those, the people that presented today. I'm very, very happy about that. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Vita. You're already speaking. We look forward to having you join us. Do we have any other?
Yes, Madam President, we have Omashala Ogbeni. I believe Omashala to be my neighbor upstairs. Are you with us, Mr. Shala?
Good morning, Toastmasters. Abubakar has exposed me, but I'm glad to be here. Thank you very much. It was certainly exciting, and I look forward to becoming a member sometime soon, hopefully, once I'm decided. So thank you for having me. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for joining. Okay, I think that's about it. Okay. Yes, so without, I think our club body left. Okay, Toastmaster Rashida Bello was our club buddy, and we wanted to say a big thank you to her for joining, and everyone else. I had a good time, and I would like to adjourn this meeting now to the 18th of September 2021. So I wish I had a gavel. So the 18th of September 2021. See you all. Thanks for joining in and had a lovely time. Bye.
Thank you.